Okay, everyone, welcome back to another session where I'm going to be talking about something that's very important because I always see the confusion that there is with businesses and when it comes to bankruptcy. Not only what bankruptcy should be filed, but then there's also the issue of a limited liability company. And that I can tell you it's an issue because I see there's a belief that because there's an LLC that you're 100% protected. And that's not the reality of the situation, not legally. I know that's the understanding, but that's not the way it works. So I'm going to be focusing on these issues of LLCs and what type of bankruptcy now needs to be filed. Now, I have been blogging about lately about Red Lobster. Red Lobster, I think we've all been there, right? They close up 50 locations. They recently had an auction and I've posted a couple blog posts on that, including which locations have been closing. I'll make sure to put that at the bottom in the comments section. So if you're interested in seeing what location near you, actually one of the locations I used to visit is closing up basically. So they haven't already based on their auction. So let's focus on what we're going to have to deal with when it comes to a business bankruptcy. In reality, we're only going to have two choices. There's other, there's issues for, there's a special bankruptcy for farmers and stuff like that, but let's just talk about the standard business. One, are you staying open or closed? It really comes down to that. It's that simple. If you're closing, you're looking at doing a chapter 7. If you're looking to stay open, it's chapter 11. Now there's confusion right here. Chapter 13 is not an option. It is not under any circumstances an option for your business. It is only for individuals. Now, the confusion is that people say, they might be a business owner and they're filing for Chapter 13. That's fine. Just understand that the debts are related to you personally. They're not related to your business. Now, let me scratch out a couple things here because I do want to point this out. Chapter 13, and most of you know what this is like. If not, just go to my blogs and read all the articles I have posted there. But chapter 13 is basically known as a reorganization. It just means that you're going to be paying back your debt in X amount of time, typically 3 to 5 years. Now, that is basically what a chapter 11 is. It is a repayment plan, a reorganization. It is not a liquidation, which means we're closing up shop. We're done. The business is closed. Shut it down with the state, the licensing, and everything else. We're done. But that's where the confusion comes in. People file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and for their business and then say, they can't touch me. I'm all good, right? I have an LLC. Well, let's really talk about what an LLC means. A limited liability company means the company is, there's a certain amount of limited liability. And that's based on what you put in. So if you put in 100K and the business gets sued, that's what you're liable up to, 100K. Sounds easy, and that's why people get confused and they believe they're off the hook when it comes to their corporation. But that's not the way it works, not legally. There are two things we need to focus on. So the first one I'm going to tell you about is personal liability. There's a very good chance that you are personally liable for the debts of your business. Now, take a step back. You got a business loan. I got a business loan, right? I paid. I can't wait. I paid off in August of this year. I'm tired of those checks going out every single month since COVID. But if I get sued for not paying that business loan, bank turns around and says, I'm going to file a lawsuit against you and the business. You're not going to get me because what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the business. The business doesn't exist. Listen to what I just said. They're going to do a lawsuit against you and the business. The business is done. They're still you. How can they sue you? Right here. Somewhere in that long list of documents that you scroll through, when you sign these contracts online today, you just scrolled all the way to the bottom and said, I agree to all the terms and conditions. Somewhere in there, there's a clause that says there's personal liability on that business debt. It happens to me, it's going to happen to you. Are there situations where you're not personally liable for debt? Of course. But these are large corporations where there is really like a C corp, like an Amazon, or even it could be something much smaller, obviously, but there's a definite separation between the business owner and the corporation. But chances are all of us are going to be personally liable for that debt. So if you're personally liable, the fact that you have an LLC has nothing to do with anything. The LLC is to protect you from lawsuits involved with the business, but it has nothing to do with this debt. This is a debt that you signed for and told the bank that you will be liable personally for the debt. So your LLC has no effect on that issue. But let's go a step further. Let's suppose, for whatever reason, your business, the size of the business, the success, decades of doing business with the bank, they don't have you personally liable for the business. That's great. An LLC still won't protect you if there's a lawsuit about something else. Why? Because of this right here. It even sounds nice. Pierce the corporate veil. Think about that, the corporate veil. There's a veil. This is a corporation. But if you cannot separate you from the business, then that veil gets pierced. And what does that mean? We're back to this issue here, personal liability. It means that they can file a lawsuit against you. Now, what's the easiest way this is done? I had a friend who did this with his family, and considering he was a lawyer, it just really, it was mind-boggling to me. But here's the answer. You have a business. I don't care what the business is. You're selling these things, right? So you sell this, and now you go to Office Depot and you buy supplies, and you're paying for it for your personal, your personal checking account, right? Or you have taxes due in the business, and you're paying that from your personal checking account. Or when you're doing business with other companies, you get their money and you put it straight into your personal checking account. The more there's a mixture of your personal and your business, the more likely you are to pierce the corporate veil. And once you pierce the corporate veil, the fact that you have an LLC isn't going to protect you. It means nothing at the end of the way. You have to keep the things separate. So if you're here, that's my wonderful P for personal. And if you're here for business, these two literally cannot mix. That means if you own rental properties and you pay, and let's say utilities are included for the tenants, you're not paying under a utility under your personal name. It should be under the name of the business. If you have 10 properties, you should have 10 corporations. That's how you limit your liability. But if you start paying for everything out of your personal account, or business checking, business deposits going to your personal account, then that's when you're going to have the problem. That's when your LLC means nothing, and bankruptcy is not going to protect you. And going back to the issue of these loans, understand that the loans, if you're going to sign, which I'm guarantee you, go look back at that contract, that original agreement, it's going to say in there that you will be liable personally for the debt. So the fact that you have an LLC means nothing. So just keep that in mind. You could have borrowed X amount of money and said, I'm okay. I'll just transfer the money to my checking account. Not only is that not only going to protect you, again, you're facing piercing the corporate veil. All right. So if you have any questions on this issue, like always, reach out to me. Readers of my blog can always send me an email, and I'll respond to the post. Don't worry about privacy. We'll change your name and location, all that, so you're okay there. But feel free to send me any questions you might have regarding a business bankruptcy. For you paralegals and those of you taking legal study courses or the paralegal courses as well, if you're using my textbook, same thing. You could always reach out to me, and you could always use my blog to supplement the information that you have been reading in the textbook. Always go outside the information that's available in the textbook, because it will better help you understand the process, especially bankruptcy, which could be so complicated. Okay, and if you need to reach out to me on social media, come find me. All right, hit me up on a tweet, or respond to one of my Facebook posts, and we'll take it from there. We'll chat. All right, so thank you, everybody. I'm going to continue posting videos later today and all the rest of this week. I got to catch up with my videos. I haven't caught up with the blog. For those of you reading my blog, thank you so much. The blog is doing well, even though I just started. I've been posting now regularly, even up to 2 or 3 times a day. Thankfully, I have more of a normalized schedule now, so you will see that the blog is more active, including the videos. All right, so it is the beginning of the week. It is Monday, so everybody have a good rest of your week, and I will see you at the next video. Take care, everybody.